It was the kind of holiday millions of families take each year. A sunny getaway, a cozy resort, and days filled with sandcastles, swimming pools, and ice cream. For the McCann family, May 3rd, 2007, began like any other blissful day in Praia da Luz, a quiet seaside village on Portugal's Algarve coast. But by nightfall, their world had shattered. 3-year-old Madeleine, their eldest child, had vanished from the holiday apartment where she slept beside her younger twin siblings. Within hours, a quiet tourist town became the epicenter of one of the most haunting missing person cases in modern history. A mystery that has spanned continents, consumed millions in investigative costs, and captivated the world's attention for nearly 2 decades. The fateful night. The McCanns, both doctors from Leicestershire, England, had settled into a routine during their stay at the Ocean Club Resort. Each evening, they would put the children to bed in their ground-floor apartment before walking to a nearby tapas restaurant, dining with friends while taking turns to check on the sleeping kids. On that Thursday night, the checks began as usual. Jerry checked in at around 9:05 p.m. and found all 3 children sleeping soundly. A friend of the family, also part of the dinner group, popped in around 9:30 p.m., reporting everything was fine. But at around 10 p.m., Kate McCann returned to find Madeleine's bed empty, the window open, and the shutters raised. The resort's calm atmosphere dissolved into chaos. Friends, staff, and later police officers began searching the complex and surrounding streets. Shouts of "Madeleine" echoed through the night air, flashlights sweeping the dark corners of the village. But the child was gone, without a trace. Early mistakes that changed everything. In any missing child case, the first few hours, often called the golden hours, are critical. It's when crucial evidence can be gathered, suspects questioned, and escape routes sealed off. But in Praia da Luz, procedural errors set in almost immediately. The apartment was not sealed off as a crime scene. Relatives, friends, and resort staff moved in and out freely, potentially disturbing fingerprints or other forensic traces. Police took hours to alert border guards and marine patrols, giving any potential abductor a significant head start. No immediate door-to-door search of the surrounding buildings was conducted, and roadblocks were not established until much later. These missteps meant that if critical clues had been left behind, they may have been destroyed before investigators could document them. The investigation narrows and turns on the parents. In the days following Madeleine's disappearance, Portuguese police considered multiple possibilities: a stranger abduction, a targeted kidnapping, a burglary gone wrong, or even the chance that the child had wandered off into the night. Witness statements added intrigue. One of the McCann's friends reported seeing a man carrying a small child away from the area around 9:15 p.m. Another local family, the Smiths, described a man walking toward the beach with a child in his arms around 10 p.m. But as the weeks passed without progress, suspicion began to shift uncomfortably toward Kate and Jerry McCann. Investigators floated the theory that Madeleine had died accidentally in the apartment and that her parents had covered it up. In September 2007, the McCanns were officially named arguidos, formal suspects, a move that divided public opinion and ignited a storm of media speculation. Months later, with no evidence to substantiate the theory, their arguido status was lifted. But the damage to their public image lingered, and the emotional toll on the family was profound. The media frenzy and legal battles. Few cases have drawn the level of sustained media attention that Madeleine McCann's disappearance did. British tabloids ran front-page headlines for weeks. Television crews from across the globe descended on Praia da Luz. The McCanns made multiple high-profile appeals, traveling through Europe and even to the Vatican to raise awareness. This publicity was a double-edged sword. While it kept Madeleine's case in the public eye and generated tips, it also fueled speculation, conspiracy theories, and outright falsehoods. Several individuals, including the McCanns themselves and an early suspect named Robert Murat, sued for defamation after being wrongly portrayed in the press. These lawsuits resulted in significant settlements, underscoring the dangerous mix of media pressure and incomplete information. A fresh start, Operation Grange. By 2011, the case had gone cold in Portugal, but pressure from the McCanns and growing public interest led the UK government to fund a new inquiry. Scotland Yard launched Operation Grange, a full-scale review of the evidence. The British investigators concluded that the most likely scenario was that Madeleine had been abducted by a stranger, potentially an opportunistic criminal who struck while the parents were at dinner. This fresh review re-examined witness statements, forensics, and timelines. E-fit images of potential suspects were released in 2013, and detectives traveled to Portugal to coordinate with local authorities. While no breakthrough came immediately, Operation Grange marked a renewed commitment to solving the mystery. The prime suspect emerges. In June 2020, a major development electrified the case. German prosecutors identified a new prime suspect, Christian Bruckner, a convicted child sex offender with a history of violent crimes. Bruckner had lived in the Algarve for several years, often in a camper van, and was known to commit burglaries and sexual assaults in the area. Phone records placed him in the vicinity of the Ocean Club on the night Madeleine disappeared. He also had a disturbing history of targeting young girls and possessing child abuse material. German investigators announced that they believed Madeleine was dead and that Bruckner was responsible, though they had not yet gathered enough evidence to charge him with murder. A chilling profile. Bruckner's criminal record reads like a catalog of escalating violence. As a teenager, he was convicted of child abuse. Later, he served time for raping a woman in Portugal. He was also linked to multiple cases of sexual assault against minors. Perhaps most disturbing were digital files allegedly belonging to him, containing thousands of images and videos of child sexual abuse, alongside internet searches and conversations expressing fantasies about abducting and harming young girls. These elements painted a chilling portrait of a man capable of committing the crime investigators believed he had. Renewed searches and forensic hopes. The announcement of Bruckner as the prime suspect reignited the search for physical evidence. In 2023 and 2025, police conducted extensive searches at locations in Portugal and Germany linked to him. These included a reservoir near Praia da Luz and a property where he once lived. During one search in 2025, investigators recovered a small caliber pistol, items of clothing, and bones later confirmed to be animal remains. While these finds were not definitive proof of Bruckner's involvement, they represented the most tangible evidence recovered in years. All items were sent for forensic testing, with hopes that DNA or trace evidence might finally tie Bruckner to Madeleine. The race against time. As of mid-2025, Bruckner is serving time in Germany for unrelated crimes. However, his scheduled release in September 2025 has created intense urgency. Unless new charges are brought, he could walk free, potentially making further investigation far more difficult. Authorities in Germany, Portugal, and the UK are working against the clock, an unprecedented tri-national effort to secure the evidence they need. The stakes are not just about prosecuting a suspect, they're about delivering answers to a family that has lived in limbo for nearly 2 decades. The human toll. Behind the headlines and legal maneuvers is the human cost. Kate and Jerry McCann have spent 18 years balancing their grief with an unyielding public campaign for their daughter. They've faced suspicion, media intrusion, and the agony of ambiguous loss, the kind of trauma that offers no closure because the fate of a loved one is unknown. They have said repeatedly that until definitive proof emerges, they will believe Madeleine could still be alive. This hope is what keeps them moving forward, year after year, in the face of unimaginable uncertainty. Lessons from a global mystery. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann has prompted changes in how missing child cases are handled internationally. It has underscored the importance of securing crime scenes immediately, coordinating cross-border investigations, and using modern forensic and digital tools from the outset. It's also a cautionary tale about the role of the media, how coverage can be both a force for good and a source of harm. The case has shown that public interest can help keep an investigation alive, but can also lead to misinformation, scapegoating, and the harassment of innocent people. Will we ever know? Nearly 18 years on, Madeleine's fate remains unknown. There's a suspect, there's motive, and there's circumstantial evidence, but the hard proof needed to close the case is still missing. The story of her disappearance is one of tragedy, tenacity, and the enduring hope of a family that refuses to give up. Whether the truth emerges in the coming months or remains forever hidden in the shadows, Madeleine McCann's name will always stand as a reminder that even in the face of darkness, the search for justice never truly ends. If stories like this matter to you, and if you believe that awareness is a powerful force for justice, then don't let the conversation end here. Like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more deep investigative stories that shine a light on the world's most perplexing cases. Thank you for watching, and see you next video.